Hello, my name is Luby, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Today we're doing more of the Emmy route. And uh, last time something happened. Something definitely happened. And now we are recovering from that, I think. Ugh. The sunlight breaks through my window shortly before my alarm ruins the morning silence. I feel sore. The events of the previous evening suddenly intrude upon my consciousness, and I find myself blushing. That was an eventful evening, and it explains perfectly the soreness in my lower back. The walk back, as I recall, had been rather tense, my trousers having been, soiled. I had washed them off in the bathroom before going back to my room. There's still a fairly obvious-looking stain on the front. Fortunately for me, the only person I ran into on my way back was Kenji, and he didn't notice a thing, legally blind. Well, apart from my being in the general vicinity. Of course, he'd asked how the night went, and whether or not I learned anything of importance. I don't even know if I opened my mouth to answer. I was too tired to care. And this morning, I'll admit that I'm feeling pretty worn out. Still, Emmy had promised me to meet me at the track, and I'd hate to disappoint. She is indeed waiting for me when I arrive, doing her best to look cheery despite the fact that she's sitting in a wheelchair. I wave to her and begin stretching. Oh my god, I hate stretching. You're early. Emmy frowns and shakes her head.
Ridiculous! You're late. Overslept us out? All tuckered out?
Well, at least she seems more like her old self. And expect that she doesn't seem that shy about mentioning our, previous activities. Hey, you're lucky I could show up at all. All that cardiovascular activity last night, I nearly thought I'd have to see the nurse afterwards. Emmy laughs out loud, then her face suddenly becomes concerned.
Hey, that's not I mean, you're not
Go on, spit it out.
It's just that it'd be hard to explain if you had an episode where we were,
Oh. Oh. Now that she mentions it, it really is a legitimate concern. And it did happen during the Lily route. So, it could happen, yeah. I certainly hadn't thought of it last night, of course. Other, more pressing concerns have been in hand. Well, I don't think anything we, do is gonna be any more of a strain than these morning runs, and I handle those fine, so... Emmy considers this point. Incredible face there. A devious light appears in her eyes.
say!
The light vanishes and Emmy grins ruefully at me. I can't help but feel vaguely suspicious.
I seem to have forgotten a pair of gloves.
What do you need gloves for? Emmy indicates the chair upon which she is seated.
For this, of course. Sure, regularly moving around is all well and good without them, but I want to be able to get a good workout. And to get that kind of speed, you gotta have gloves, you don't want blisters.
So what, are you wussing out at me then? Do I have to go it alone? Emmy thinks for a minute, or pretends to think. Are you saying that she's gonna be racing me in her wheelchair?
If I remember right, there's a spare pair or two in the track shed.
So she does seriously want to do it then. But in her normal school uniform? I'd expected her to wear a gym outfit or something like this. Wait, what are they doing there? Emmy looks askance at me.
Seriously? You can't think of why a shed full of track supplies at a school for the disabled would have racing gloves?
Well, when she puts it that way, I suppose that makes perfect sense. Hey, I'm still getting used to this place. Give me a break, huh?
I guess I can let it slide this time. Now come on, I'll need your help.
Oh, I accidentally hit. I can't imagine what for, but then again I didn't have a clue why racing gloves would be in the shed, so I'm not willing to press the issue. New location, oh my god. Emmy navigates her way to the shed easily enough, though I can hear her grumbling under her breath. It's actually kinda cute. I hurry a little to reach the door first, hoping it'll be easier for me than for her. The door opens and Emmy starts to wheel inside, only to come to a sudden halt at the doorway. It seems the door sill is slightly too high for her to get over by herself. She makes a few runs at it, unsuccessfully, before crossing her eyes and glaring at the offended object.
Stupid wheelchair. Hisao, can you give me a hand here?
Sure, no problem. It's a simple enough matter for me to bump Emmy over the doorway, jostling her slightly.
Hey, easy there!
Whoops, sorry. It's at about this time that I fail to notice where I'm going and run Emmy's chair into a mat. How many times is Emmy gonna die from falling over? She gives a startled yelp and topples forward out of her chair. There's a moment of silence as I gaze in horror upon what I've done, and Emmy glares at me.
Hisao,
Yeah?
promise me you'll never work at a hospital.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Emmy giggles and holds up a hand.
Would you kindly help me back into my chair, Hisao?
As I bend down to pick up Emmy, she grins in triumph and pulls me into a kiss that quickly has us both entirely unconcerned by getting her back into the chair. In fact, as I move to a more comfortable position, I confess the chair is pushed out of the door, which, startled by the passage, swings shut. Ah! That was sudden! You can't just do that to me! Oh my god! Ah. Well, at least we've got privacy now, which is a good thing as my hand... Are we really doing this? We're like 5 minutes into the episode. This is like 7 minutes after what just happened. Oh my god. 2 in a row. Well, like, it was the same for Lily, I guess, but we got that out of the way in one episode. Alright, here we go. Which is a good thing, as my hands work quickly to remove Emmy's blouse and skirt. I'm startled to discover that she's forgotten the bit of bra on today. Did she plan this? Her arms tuck under mine and rest on my shoulders as I kiss my way down Emmy's neck, pausing to give special attention to a spot right over the neck, piece of shoulder that I found last night. Do I have to voice that?
You've gotten pretty good at it.
I do try. Emmy pushes on my chest insistently, and I draw back with a puzzled expression.
I got a competitive vision, Hisao.
Oh? Having pulled back, I decide instead to focus my attention on her breasts. She attempts to speak. Her words are interspersed with giggles that I find incredibly cute. Okay.
I don't... Actually, whoa! Wear gloves.
My own reply is rather mumbled onto her chest instead of being addressed to her face. Should have known. Words quickly become irrelevant. Emmy's movements are almost frantic, as if she's been holding something back since we met this morning and now she has an outlet. Very horny. I'm very nearly caught off guard by her aggressiveness, feeling her nearly rip my shirt off the way she seems to vie to be in the dominant position. For my part, I confess that I'm caught up in her attitude as well, fighting back, rolling and wrestling even as I caress her breasts, even as her fingers dig into my shoulders and lose track of where we are. So much so that I roll right off the mat and land on something small and rather hard. Ow! Emmy, still flushed and breathing a little heavily, peers at me and bursts into laughter.
I'm sorry. Are you alright?
Yeah, I think so. Not sure what I landed on, though. I reach under my back and pull the offending object out, inspecting it closely. Personal lubricant. Lemon flavored. Wait, what? Emmy's eyes shoot upwards and she begins, if possible, to laugh even harder. Somehow, I don't think this isn't track related.
Oh man, I know whose that is.
What?
It's a track captain's.
Ah, my old nemesis. Or kind of. How do you know it's his? It appears that I've asked a stupid question, or at least Emmy thinks so.
Because he's the one who told me the track shed was a good place for, what did he call him? Clandestine encounters.
Oh, he invited you to one or something. Emmy bursts into more laughter. I confess the sight of a naked Emmy laughing is oddly beautiful. I feel an eagerness to end conversation and get back to what we were doing, despite my rather pointed questioning. Oh.
Hisao, the track captain's gay.
Great. Looks like I never had to worry. Huh. Really? And here I initially thought you two were a couple.
Well, I did have a crush on him when I first joined up, but he wasn't interested. Obviously. But we are good friends, I guess. I mean, he told me about all this, you know. I hesitate to ask, and really, I do. But I ask anyway. But what does he need the, lube for, anyway? I mean, he doesn't, how the hell does Emmy always manage to not blush? Obviously, he uses for, you know.
Oh my god! I have to read this shit.
Anal?
I try to suppress a snicker. I fail. Emmy's giggling too. And he tells you about all this? Emmy shrugs.
Yeah, of course. He's kind of wild about the whole thing. Says it's a feeling that can't be beat.
The air in the track shed seems charged with some kind of horrible curiosity. That's interesting. I suppose I'll have to take his word for it.
Well,
Birds outside stop chirping. The wind dies down. Somewhere, somewhere a man is drinking a cup of coffee. He freezes with the cup at his lips.
we could maybe try it?
My jaw suddenly and spontaneously unhinges and hits the floor. What? Emmy is finally blushing, rubbing the back of her head ruefully.
Well, it's just we really can't do what we did last night, you know? It would be a little. It wouldn't be safe, you know? I mean, it wasn't exactly a great idea last night. So, you know, we could try this to see if it,
Is as good?
well, yeah, basically.
Huh. Okay, we got position. Oh. Okay. Oh my god. At least the censoring shouldn't be too hard here. Careful! Are you sure about this? I'm positioned behind Emmy, who's looking back over her shoulder, looking a little flushed. Well, obviously, once we decided to go ahead with this idea, we had to get back into the mood. That accomplished, we emptied the bottle of lube, and, here we are. Look at fucking Hisao's nervous-ass face.
Yeah,
God, Emmy's face, too.
yes, I'm sure. Come on, before I calm down and think too much about this.
Emmy's breathing is still coming a little heavily, and her response is almost impatient. Which is to be expected, I suppose. We were both so close, and this is kind of delaying things. I think we've both gone temporarily insane. At least that's going to be my claim from here on out. I try hard not to think about the specifics of what I'm about to get myself into. There's no way this is going to be very clean. Oh god. Taking a breath is as much for me as it is for her. I enter slowly. There's a lot of resistance, and it's like both our bodies are reluctant to actually go through with it. Emmy's whole body tenses, and as I'm only partially in by this point, it feels surprisingly good, if a bit odd. Emmy, on the other hand, looks uncomfortable. The expression is almost comical. Yeah, I can see it here. Should I stop? Emmy's breath hitches in her throat, and it seems to take a few seconds longer than it should to formulate a reply.
No, keep going. It just feels weird.
She giggles. I can't blame her. I'm surprised it even managed to form a sentence. It's hot. Feels exceedingly odd. The lube glistens unnaturally. It makes me uncomfortable. I continue to work my way inside her, working slowly and listening carefully to Emmy's breathing. I wonder if by the time we get to the final girl in this game, I can finally start to narrate these, somewhat calmly. I reach my limit and pause. Emmy looks back again, biting her lower lip.
Are you gonna try moving, or are we just gonna sit here feeling silly?
No, I just wanted to give you a chance to adjust. This doesn't make any sense. How did we even decide to do this?
I don't think there's really any adjusting to this, Hisao. Try moving. Maybe it'll feel better?
She sounds doubtful, but certainly unwilling to admit defeat now that we've come so far. I begin a slow motion that seems to work well for both myself and Emmy as she closes her eyes in an attempt to concentrate on this new feeling. As I begin to find a rhythm, I begin to feel that familiar falling weight sensation I got yesterday. I close my eyes and try to lose myself in the feeling, except, it doesn't seem right. Emmy is not making any noise. I learned very quickly yesterday that Emmy is somewhat less than quiet when she's enjoying herself. As I open my eyes, I see that Emmy's trying to get into things, but it just doesn't seem to be working for her. This is very awkward. Which is expected, I guess, but, still very awkward. Her eyes are closed and she's biting her lip, but it seems to be out of toleration rather than enjoyment. A sort of, well, this was a failure, but hopefully you'll be over soon look. I'm caught in a bit of a situation here. In truth, I don't want to stop, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to be doing much for Emmy. Or if it is, it's coming on far slower than I am. I feel bad. I want Emmy to enjoy this too. Hisao, what a gentleman! A good man right there! I reach one arm around to tease at Emmy's chest, which startles her. This in turn causes her to tighten around me considerably, causing a wave of pleasure to blindside me. My gasp seems to amuse Emmy, but her grin quickly turns to a gasp as I move my other hand casually down her front and begin to stroke gently at the soft patch of hair between her legs. Motion my own hips increases my hand administration Emmy's front, being back the gasping yelps that I'm used to. I concentrate only on the feelings of my hands, one now slick inside and the other on skin soft and responsive, goosebumps on her flesh, shivers and sweats as her own building climax causes her to tighten until finally I can't possibly. Oh god, I'm sorry, Emmy, I'm gonna die. I give a final thrust, my fingers tense around Emmy's nose, tied between her legs. Well, that happened. Emmy's back spasms and she arches up a high girlish cry that echoes off the walls and peeled away from my own clans and annihilate all other sensations in my body. Emmy's arms gives out and she falls forward, rather violently disengaging us and pulling something dear to me in the process. The sudden switch from pleasure to pain causes me to lose my balance, and I fall forward on top of Emmy. Ow! Ow! I quickly roll off Emmy and prop myself up, breathing heavily and trying to ignore the pain in my crotch. Emmy yelps a little as she rolls over. She grabs a couple of the tissues we'd kept handy earlier and cleans up before getting her panties back on and awkwardly leaning against a wall. Still breathing heavily, I decide to sit against the wall next to her. The feeling of the cool concrete against my sweating back is a welcome sensation. Okay, it's over. That was very awkward. But you kind of expect, when they're exploring for it to be super damn awkward and maybe at sometimes painful. That hurt at the end. Yeah, this was probably not a great idea. Emmy squirms in order to try and sit down beside me without too much pain. Judging by her wincing, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, I'm gonna have words with the captain. He was clearly lying.
The utter and absolute ridiculousness of the situation suddenly hits, and I begin laughing. Emmy shakes her head and begins laughing with me.
Hey, Sal!
Yeah.
We're never doing this again, right?
Yeah, I think my curiosity is satisfied on this one. Emmy nods, satisfied. Let's agree to never do this again.
Good. I think maybe we should stick to the basics, don't you? I mean, most of this is new to me anyway.
What do you mean, most? Emmy grins impishly.
I'll never tell.
An unpleasant thought strikes me. Even more unpleasant is the thought of having to ask Emmy about it. Still, after what we've just done, it should be a cakewalk. I've said this earlier in Emmy's playthrough, but I'd like to reiterate again. The certain lyrics of a Big Time Rush song, I'm not going to say them, but you know them. Still, after what we've just done, it should be a cakewalk. Hey, is there a sink? I'd kind of like to wash off a little. Emmy's jaw drops.
In the sink?
Well, there's not really anywhere else to do it, is there? And I want to avoid a smell that the nurse might notice. This is the most awkward conversation I have ever had.
You're right. Yeah, it's on the back wall. There might be some soap, too.
Thanks. There is, in fact, a little hand soap, which is better than nothing. No towel, though. Guess I'll just have to drip dry.
All finished?
Yeah, that'll do for now. It's not like I'm not gonna take a shower after we see the nurse.
Glad to hear it. Now help me find my clothes. You tossed them somewhere.
Hey, you're no better. How am I supposed to explain that hole in my shirt?
Sorry. Got a little excited earlier.
Also, I'm losing my Emmy voice because I'm losing my Emmy voice, or at least the semblance of an Emmy voice I had because of having to read all that. It takes some time, but finally we're both more or less clothed. There's a frantic moment where neither of us knows where Emmy's wheelchair is, but I recall it going through the door and rescue it.
Now be more careful going through the door this time, would ya? Bumps are not my friend right now.
I am so sorry that we tried this. Emmy shrugs and grins.
Well, it was worth a shot, right? Anyway, it was good exercise.
Can't argue that. As we make our way up to the nurse's office, I notice that Emmy keeps shifting uncomfortably in her seat.
God, this feels weird. Good thing I'm in a wheelchair, Sal.
Why's that?
Because now I don't have to explain to the nurse why I'm walking funny.
Oh, we're never doing this again. Oh my god. The nurse is at least kind enough not to comment on the marks that Emmy left on my shoulders. Nor does he say a word about Emmy's constant shifting about in her wheelchair. Either he doesn't notice or he didn't want to notice. All the same, I'm gonna have to make sure he didn't slip cyanide into my medication for a little while. Just to be safe. I shower for longer than usual, just to be sure I'm clean of our little experiment, and then collapse in my bed. Class is in 20 minutes, so I can probably afford a nap. That is not a good idea. Oh my god. That was Knock knock! Who's there? That's not how the joke goes at all. I already said, who's there? More importantly, what time is it? Even more importantly, what day? I'm suddenly catapulted into wakefulness by both the fact that the knocking still hasn't stopped, and the fact that it's noon on a school day. Now fully awake, I can remember why I was napping. Better not give that excuse to Muto. Sorry, I wasn't in class. I was experimenting sexually with my girlfriend and it tired me out. Yeah, that'll go over well. I wonder how long this knocking is going to continue. Guess I ought to answer the door. Kenji time. Kenji time. Let's go! Kenji time! We haven't seen Kenji in a while. I'm strangely unsurprised to see Kenji on the other side. Though it appears that Kenji is surprised to see me. Just trying to get all the fucking giggles out of me.
What the hell are you doing here, man?
Well, I was sleeping. Kenji nods in understanding.
Knocked out, I see. I told you to be careful around the Barzaki chick, man. This is the sort of thing that happens when you aren't cautious.
He makes an attempt to look at the back of my head.
Did she hit you with something? Or was it a drug?
Stop trying to touch me. Kenji produces a flashlight and shines in my eyes.
You got a concussion?
I wasn't knocked out!
Maybe you just don't remember.
This conversation isn't going anywhere. No, I just had a tiring morning and fell asleep.
Whatever, man. You want to be in denial about this, I guess I can't stop you. But you gotta watch out for that girl, man. She's not safe.
What?
She's not safe to be around. She's one of their most sinister agents. If you're not careful, there's no telling what happened, man. She's brought down stronger men than you know.
What the hell are you talking about? She's not an agent of anything and she didn't knock me out, okay? I mean, she kinda did, but she didn't. I also highly doubt that she's brought down anyone at all. Kenji looks almost offended. I have no idea why.
You don't believe me? That's cold, man. Real cold. I'm just trying to look out for you. That's what friends do, you know.
We're friends? I had no idea. Then again, I wonder if Kenji knows what being a friend even entails. I feel something like pity for him standing there before me. Maybe he does think he's looking out for me. I know. I'm sorry about that. Thanks for the warning. I hold out my hand as a sign of peace. Kenji shakes it gingerly, like my hand could possibly be on fire. There's an awkward silence for a few seconds before Kenji remembers that he's still shaking my hand.
Anyway, I need a favor.
What kind of favor? I'm out of money.
No, you aren't. You've got money kept in your desk drawer under a black notebook for emergencies.
Did you ransack my room?
That's not important. I don't need money anyway.
He adopts a very serious tone.
I'm about to undertake a major op. It'll blow the whole conspiracy wide open if I'm right. But it's dangerous, so I need you to do something for me in case I don't come back.
Sure, man. Anything. What the hell is he planning on doing? Should I be telling someone about this?
If I go missing, wait 3 days and then mail my journal off to the newspapers. It's hidden in my room under a false bottom in one of my desk drawers.
How do I get into your room? I don't have a key. Kenji looks at me like I'm crazy.
So pick the lock. You know how to do that, right? It's an important skill to learn at a young age.
Yeah, of course I know how. I'll be sure to do that for you if you go missing. I don't think I want to read Kenji's journal. Either way, Kenji seems pretty happy that I've agreed to do this thing for him.
Great, man, great. I'll see you around. I got stuff to do.
And he's gone, dashing down the hallway. He made it seem so final. I hope I don't have to carry out his final wishes. Shaking my head, I close my door and walk back to my bed. Guess I should go to class, if only to catch the last half of the day. But I have come this far without going to class today, and I did want to read more of that Hawking book Muto lent me. I'm sure he'll understand. Knock, knock. This time the noise jerks my attention away from my book. An experience not unlike being woken up. That is very true. And this time I'm expecting it to be Emmy. Yeah. Who's there?
Me?
Ugh. Oh god, that was a terrible voice. I'm still recovering from doing the Kenji voice, and even then, that was not my best portrayal.
Me? Aren't you glad?
The voice is muffled to the door, but unmistakably Emmy's. I hop up and open the door, smiling broadly. Hey, nice to see you again. Emmy grins back, staring up at me from her wheelchair.
Yeah, you would have seen me earlier, but the damn elevator wasn't working. I had to wait for them to fix it. You'd think they could keep it in better order, but no.
I chuckle a bit at her vexed expression and invite her in. She wheels in easily, and with my help, she hops into my bed.
There! Much more comfortable than that stupid chair.
A sigh of contentment hangs in the air, and for a minute we both just stare at one another. It's at that point that I notice the circles under Emmy's eyes. They're not that dark, but they definitely weren't there before. Before I can ask about them, Emmy fixes me with a mischievous stare.
So, I couldn't help but notice you weren't at lunch today. In fact, I don't think I saw you at all. What happened?
Fell asleep. I actually didn't wake up until lunch, and only then because Kenji woke me up.
What had you so tired?
Strenuous workout this morning. Slightly uncomfortable, too. Emmy coughs, a half-laughing, half-embarrassed noise.
Remind me not to do that again.
No problem. It wasn't exactly great for me either, to be honest. We'll just avoid that from now on. Are you, still sore? Emmy stares at me in disbelief. What? It's a legitimate question.
Of all the questions I never thought I'd be asked, that's one of them.
Well, I didn't ever expect to have to ask it, so we're even. Emmy laughs at this.
I guess so, huh? Well, since you asked, yeah, I'm still a little sore. We're never doing that again.
No arguments from here. A yawn escapes her, and I raise an eyebrow. Tired? Emmy nods sleepily.
Haven't slept well.
Not sleeping well? I can tell that you didn't mean to tell me this either, because she gives a little start like she's just been caught lying and hastens to add.
It's not a big deal, though.
What's the trouble? Emmy shrugs and refuses to elaborate. Stressed over exams? Another shrug, but after a pause, Emmy nods hesitantly.
Yeah, I guess. Actually, that's why I stopped by.
She begins to look more and more miserable. Not so you notice, of course, but her eyes are on her lap, and she's fidgeting, and her voice is quiet.
We need to stop hanging out so much.
Huh? Wait, why? Emmy takes a deep breath, like she's been practicing this.
Because you're too much fun to be around, and I can't concentrate when you're near me. With exams coming up soon, I can't have that distraction. Otherwise, my grades will be pretty lousy, I'm afraid.
I could help you study. She smiles at me, clearly unhappy with the situation.
I'd love it if you could, but we wouldn't actually study, would we? I mean, even now I'm trying to have a conversation with you, but I kind of just want to, not converse.
Overwhelmed with my rugged manliness, I understand. That earns me a grin, at least. Emmy shakes her head.
Idiot! Idiot, you're full of yourself.
Well, I am pretty irresistible.
More or less, I guess. So, that's the situation, Isao. I have too much fun around you, and if I'm going to go into exams prepared, I need to be alone.
Hey, that's okay. It really seems to have been bothering her. Besides, it's only a couple of weeks, and we'll still see each other in the mornings and at lunch. We can just hang out at school, no problem. And after exams, we'll go on a date to celebrate their being over, okay? Emmy grins, pleased by this proposal.
Yeah, sure, that sounds great.
As if to signal the end of the conversation, she leans in and kisses me. The rest of the night is not spent worrying about exams. I wonder if they didn't converse. But also that is, not great, and I think I know why, but I don't want to say anything definitively. No, screw it, I'm just gonna say it. Okay, so obviously Emmy's losing sleep, and, well, I'm guessing it's because of her dad, and the fact that she can't run anymore, and, that is really tough for her. And to add to that, Hisao is now, I argue, somebody special in her life. And, well, that's the thing. Emmy now has, another special someone in her life. She has Rin, yeah, but, I don't know, it feels like, her and Hisao are getting really close now. And I have a feeling that Emmy is pushing herself away from Hisao because she doesn't want to... Maybe she doesn't want to become too attached herself because she doesn't want to lose him. Do you feel me? She's afraid of losing Hisao, basically, is what I'm thinking here. But, I have a feeling that she's, presenting herself as being really happy and, just, generally unbothered, but that she's in real big pain inside. Like, she's hiding a lot. I think that'll be explored later, but for now, those are my thoughts. Let's keep going. It's weird how easily Emmy and I can keep from seeing one another after class now. Actually, I'd venture to say that it's vaguely disturbing. As easily as we'd come together, we seem to have split apart without much trouble. Well, I guess that's not exactly true. We'd both been pretty bummed after that last night together, and we get to see each other every morning for our runs, and just our runs, I might add. Lunch, too. I especially enjoyed lunchtime with her. We have plenty of time to talk about everything outside of school, whereas the morning runs have become increasingly businesslike. I think it's because Emmy wants to make up for our foolery in the storage shed, but no matter how much we joke at lunch, I can't help feeling a little worried about her. She seems distracted more often, and I've caught her fidgeting nervously more than once. Never figured her to be someone who cared that deeply about exams, but they certainly seem to be taking their toll. I don't think she's stressed about the exams, Sao. Even though they haven't even started. This is just the run-up, the deep breath before the plunge. Tomorrow the real trials begin, or the real exams anyway. As for me, I actually don't feel that worried about exams at all. I'm not sure why. I mean, they're pretty important. My scores here will determine my odds of getting into a good university. Hell, if I'm too cavalier now, it could spell doom for my academic career. But going into them, I feel confident I'll come out the other side okay. Muto thinks I've got the science examination locked up at any rate. Or as he says, the last thing that should give you any trouble is my exam, Sao. It's way beneath your talents. Then again, it is Muto who's telling me this. His praise of me carries the veiled implication that anything less than perfect for me would be a disappointment, which has actually caused me to fret more than I should about the exam. It's for that reason that I find myself in the library after class, poring over the textbook. Pretty simple things to look over, some formulas of velocity, a few bits about friction, a walk in the park compared to my dreaded English exam. Never was good with languages. As I flip through my notes one more time, my mind begins to wander. After these exams are over, things should get easier. Soon we'll be graduated. Then off to college, hopefully. I remember my abortive attempt to find out what Emmy plans to do after high school. She avoided the subject pretty deftly, as I recall. Heck, it seems that just about every time I push too hard, she dances around the subject, or distracts me through, other means. Like a few days ago at lunch when Rin wasn't around. I've done it! I'm startled from my reverie by Yuko's triumphant shout. Yeah! Yuko seems mortified at my sudden starting. Oh my god! I'm so sorry, I really wasn't. It's just that. As she stutters, I move to quickly calm her down before she gets too agitated. Whoa, hey. My words seem ineffective. Yuko continues to work herself into a complete frenzy. It's a library. I shouldn't be. Easy there. Just calm down. And really, I'm setting a bad example, and I'll get fired because I can't do anything wrong. Yuko! Shouting seems to work, though I draw the ire of several other students studying in the library. Yuko snaps to attention like a soldier who just heard the captain bark an order. Sorry. Calm down. It's okay. You just startled me a little, and it's only because I was daydreaming instead of studying. So really, you got me back on task. You remember that part in Lily's Route where Yuko gave us, like, that wisdom? Like, the excellent advice on how we should, like, tell Lily how we feel now instead of, like, waiting to see and, like, wondering if it'll ever happen? Why do I have a feeling that we'll get another piece of wisdom from her? This is a complete lie, but it seems to work. Yuko takes a deep breath and seems to calm down a little, though she keeps shifting around with a nervous energy that seems awfully familiar. So what's got you so excited anyway? The Yamaku cat burglar! To her credit, Yuka manages to convince her intense excitement in a whisper. I think I know who it is! I got an anonymous tip to his identity, so I did some spying, and I think the tipster was right. Oh, really? And who was this, burglar? It's Kenji. Yuka shuts her mouth, shaking her head decisively. Nope, I can't tell you that. Why not? It's between me and the burglar. I can't risk you warning him that I'm onto his game. He could tip his hand early and blow town. Then I'm left with no perp. When did Yuko start talking like a hard-boiled detective? I wouldn't warn them. Why would I care? If you got to ask that question, then you don't need to know. That doesn't make any sense, but okay. Congratulations, I guess. Thanks! What for? The, cat burglar thing? Yuko nods and smiles appreciatively.
So, studying for exams?
Well, that was the plan. I'm not having much luck, though.
Really? Is it because you can't find a book? I'm really sorry. I've been meaning to clean the shelves up for weeks now, but I keep getting distracted. I'm so sorry.
Whoa, wait. It's not that. I've got my book right here. To illustrate the point and hopefully calm Yuko down, I show her the textbook in front of me. My mind just keeps wandering is all.
Is it because of the noise in here? I'm trying to be more strict about the noise levels, but I can't bring myself to yell at people. I mean, aren't their lives hard enough without me throwing my authority around?
No, it's not the noise level either, I promise. Yuko is nice. I'm just, hell, I don't know. Worried about Emmy. Worried about us. Worried about what happens after we graduate. Emmy's been kind of weird lately.
What do you mean?
Well, you know how we're dating now? I just don't know that we're actually, you know, a couple. Or at least I don't know that we're beyond friends. Though friends normally don't do the sort of things we do. Physically, we're a couple. Coupling, at least. It's like, every time I try to find out more about her, about what she wants to do with her life, she dodges the question. Like the other day, I was talking to her at lunch about some schools I've been looking into, and I asked her, have you looked into any schools lately? She shrugs in response, says no, and when I ask why not, she says that she doesn't think that far ahead. I asked why she had that policy, and I suddenly realized I'm about to start describing and wisely decided to clam up.
She what?
She changed the subject. Wouldn't talk about it.
Maybe it's an uncomfortable subject for her, or she doesn't think it needs explaining.
Yeah, but it's not just that. Every time I try to find out what's been bothering her, she changes the subject too. It's like she likes being with me, but not getting close to me. Now that I said it out loud, I feel worse. Yuko digests this bit of information.
You know, it seems to me that you're more serious about this than she is.
I can almost feel my stomach twist into a knot. She's right. That's exactly what it seems like. But is that really what's going on? I mean...
Sorry, I'm just talking nonsense. You shouldn't take my advice, you barely know me. I'm just a librarian, I'm single, so you can imagine I can't know what I'm talking about.
No, I think you have a point. As much as it hurts to even consider it. Yuko seems to try desperately to find a way to soften the blow somewhat.
Look, I'm probably wrong, but if you want to be sure of how obviously wrong I am, maybe you could just talk to her? Get some time alone and just ask about it. And don't let her change the subject, either.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. Or maybe I should just enjoy what I have. We have fun hanging out after all, and the runs are nice, and the other activities are nice, and talking to her is nice. Do I really need to get closer to her? What I've got right now is pretty good. But that's silly. I want to get closer to her. I want to be able to help her out with whatever is bothering her, but maybe I should wait until after exams are over. Maybe she'll brighten up once the stress is past. If she does, then I don't need to worry about it anymore. But if she doesn't, well, I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I thank Yuko for her advice and head back to my room. So I was right, we did get more wisdom from Yuko. Maybe I'll be able to concentrate on my studies more in there. Yeah, so I was, right. Emmy is hiding a lot from us. Although, I don't think it's that we're taking the relationship more seriously than her. I feel like Emmy wants to get as close to Asao as Asao wants to get close to Emmy, but it's like, the fear of losing him and, pushing him away, not wanting to get too close, you feel me? Like she's scared to get close to another person after, her dad, because she doesn't want to have another, tragic accident again. You feel me? Yeah. I leave the room after finishing my final exam and breathe a sigh of relief. As I'd hoped, the exams weren't so bad. I managed to breeze through just about everything but the English final. And even that was acceptable. What are you saying? The exams weren't bad. He breezed through the English final. That was acceptable. I wonder how Emmy did. Even more so how she's doing. She looked terrible at lunch today. I mean, she was pretty happy to be out of a wheelchair, but she was so exhausted. Something's been wearing her down. I'm starting to really doubt that it was just the exams. Should I confront her about this, though? My musing is interrupted by a tap on the shoulder. Hey, Asao. Got a minute? Okay. No, I have other things to worry about, is go check on Emmy. I suppose I can spare a few minutes, is... Well, I don't think the game's gonna give me a bad ending just because I wanted to talk to Muto for a bit, you know? If I get a bad ending, I can just... Wait. Perfect idea. Bada bing. If this somehow gets me a bad ending, then we can just go back. Yeah, I've got some time. Nowhere important to be or anything like that. Muto raises an eyebrow as if questioning my statement, then beckons me back into the classroom. I wanted to get some feedback from you if I could. I know this course wasn't quite up to your level. Don't worry about it. The science club activities more than made up for it. Did they? Well, in fact, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Do you think that was a worthwhile activity? Just for my own reference. Well, yeah, it was a great way to go further than we did in class. It was definitely worthwhile. Muto seems delighted by my response. That's great. Exactly the sort of thing I was hoping for. You know, Asao, I'm glad you came here. It's always good to have a student who really gets into the subject you teach. In a way, it makes dealing with the rest of the students more tolerable. You're a bright kid, too. You took to the stuff like a duck to water, or some other such simile. Thanks. You were a great help, especially with all that college stuff. There's, one more thing, Asao. A bit of advice from one scientist to another. What's that? What does a scientist do? Observe the world around him. Exactly. Good. A simple question, but one that most people can't seem to answer. That's the essence of a scientist, Asao. We observe what's there and try to figure it out. But what if there's something you can't figure out? What's a scientist to do if he can't observe something? How, for example, can we talk about quarks when nobody has ever actually seen one? Or black holes when observing them directly is impossible? Well, scientific equipment is pretty advanced. Muto irritably waves away my response. No, that's not it at all. Those are tools. I'm trying to give you a philosophy. Think. If you can't observe something directly, then how can you observe it? Guess? How? How would you guess the movement of a quark? What is your guess based on? Of course. I should have thought of it earlier. The things it affects. Muto claps his hands together excitedly and whoops. Yes, exactly. Good. Remember that, Asao. If you can't examine something directly, it's because you're looking at it wrong. You have to look at it differently if you want to uncover the truth. And if it eludes you, then look at what it leaves behind. That is the essence of being a scientist. We never stop looking for the answer. Never take anything for granted. Observe, experiment, and observe some more. There's a lot of stuff out there that makes no sense, Asao. Your job is to get it to make sense. If nothing else, I hope you've learned that here. I think I can remember that. Muto smiles, satisfied. Good. Now go enjoy your time off. You've earned it. Oh my god, Muto's voice was killing my throat. But I was pretty philosophical. I leave the room feeling a little confused. What brought that on? Although, am I going about this thing with Emmy the wrong way? If she won't tell me, then can I go about it some other way? The question keeps spinning in my head even after I made my way back to my room. What if she gets angry about it? Besides, what if it's nothing? If I go in and refuse to leave until she tells me what's wrong or something, won't that come off as clingy? I don't want to start a fight or anything over something like this. Maybe I should just drop the matter and see how she is tomorrow before I do anything. Would it be so bad to just let it go? It's not like we don't enjoy each other's company, but odd as it sounds, I really want to help her. I don't even know what with, or if there's anything at all that she needs help for, but I want to. Suddenly, a knock on my door rouses me. I open it to see Kenji. Oh god, going from one voice that kills my throat to another voice that kills my throat. Oh, it's you.
It's me? That's it? If you had any idea what I've been through, what I've done, you'd be happier to see me, dude. I mean, that was some epic you may never see me again shit. And here you're just acting like I went down to the store for some milk. You're a cold man, Asao. I really respect that.
Thanks, I guess.
It's smart to play it safe, you know. Don't show any emotion. Keep your cards close to your chest. Unless it's time to show your cards or you have bad cards. Then you should fold to collect your winnings. Do you understand?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I take it the, mission went well?
Whoa, awfully nosy of you, isn't it? You can't just go saying things like that. Things are at a delicate stage. One wrong move and bam! The invasion succeeds.
I thought you were gonna blow the conspiracy wide open.
It's bigger than I thought. I need to update my charts. And probably change some of the puppets around. You wanna help? I got some whiskey from, somewhere. You can fill me in on everything in your investigation has turned up.
Better not. I'm, supposed to meet her today. Gotta go do that. Can't raise suspicion. Kenji nods in approval.
Still keeping it close to the chest, eh? Okay, man, I can respect that. Good luck.
Thanks. I'm just gonna pretend for the sake of my own sanity that he's wishing me luck and talking to Emmy. And if I squint, that whole card analogy he was talking about works here. Time to lay it all on the table. Or see if I can't get Emmy to do so, rather. Whew. With a sense of something approaching purpose, I head for Emmy's room. I hop up the stairs leading to her room and knock on her door. Who's there? Huh? That's odd. Her voice sounds a little choked. Hey, it's me. Thought I'd stop by.
Hisao? Come on in.
I reach down to open the door, only to find that it's locked. More curious. Your door's locked.
Oh, yeah, sorry, give me a minute.
In a few minutes, Emmy opens the door, grinning.
Sorry, I had my legs on. I was napping.
Despite her grin, there's something definitely off. Emmy's eyes are slightly red, and it looks like she's been crying. Hey, no problem. Are you okay?
Huh? Yeah, I'm fine.
It's just that you look like you've been crying. Oh, yeah, Sal, you're off to a great start on this one.
What? No, I'm fine. I'm just happy to see you.
She punctuates this with a long kiss that continues as the door slams shut behind us. I know what she wants to do now, and I'm also painfully aware of how badly I want to do it too, but I break the kiss with a wrench of self-control that nearly kills me. Hey, wait. Emmy's eyes crinkle in confusion.
Huh? Wait for what?
We need to talk. Isn't that supposed to be my line?
And never a good thing to say?
She's got a point. It's usually the lead-in to a breakup, or the prelude to a fight. Maybe it can be a good thing this time. That's the hope, anyway.
Huh. Can we at least get onto the bed? It's my first day back on these things, and I'm still readjusting. Plus, the nurse said I should try to be on them less often, since running puts such a strain on them.
Can't argue with that. It's a trap, and we both know it, and we both don't care. Then again, it's awfully hard to get angry while in bed with the object of your affections, so maybe there's that motivation too. I set Emmy's legs to the bedside and sit down next to her, throwing an arm around her shoulders. In silence, we just enjoy being able to be in this position again for a few minutes. Then, of course, I need to ruin it by opening my mouth. Look, I know that you've been having kind of a rough time of it lately, and I want to help you out. I thought it was just exams getting to you, but now I come to your room and you've been crying and that kills me. But I can't do anything if you won't talk to me about it.
I told you I'm fine. No, you aren't. It's obvious something's eating at you. You can tell me, you know?
There's the slightest increase in tension in Emmy's voice.
Why is my saying I'm fine not good enough? You're concerned. I get that. That's cool. But I'm fine. There's nothing that you need to worry about.
Not sleeping and spacing out more than Rin doesn't strike me as being fine. I want to help.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't like seeing you like this. I want you to be happy, you know. I get the feeling that came out wrong because Emmy fixes me with an icy stare.
So you want to fix me, Isao?
She's definitely getting angry now.
Want to swoop in on your white charger and save the day? Stop the nightmares? The phantom limb pains? Restore what's lost?
Her voice catches in her throat and the tears start to flow.
Well, you can't. Nobody can. Nobody will.
I'm so stunned by her sudden verbal assault that I remain quiet. Neither of us says anything for a while. I'm surprised that Emmy tightens her grip on me rather than pushing me away. After a deep breath, she starts talking again.
Look, I'm sorry. There's these nightmares about the accident.
The accident. I should have known. It took her legs after all, but it never comes up, of course.
And I usually deal with them fine because I can run. Running clears my head like nothing else. I don't have to worry about anything else while I'm running. I just concentrate on breathing, on the rhythm of things. It's easier that way. Life's easier that way. Just keep moving forwards, you know? Nothing else matters, just getting around the next curve. And then it's the next curve, and the next, until I can't go anymore, or think anymore, or do anything but slow down and walk until I catch my breath again. After something like that, nothing else matters. But I've been stuck in that goddamned wheelchair for too long, so no outlet. Today it just kind of boiled over a little.
You could have talked to me about it, you know? Didn't have to go it alone. Emmy smiles sadly, like she's trying to explain to a child that all fire burns.
Yeah, I did, and I do.
But why? Why do you have to keep going through this alone? Why can't you just trust me enough to let me help you? That smile again. Emmy leans in and kisses me on my cheek, an almost motherly gesture. She leaves her mouth close to my ear as she confesses this one thing to me.
Because, Isao, I've already had everything I knew ripped away from me once. I don't know what I'd do if it happened again.
She pauses, as if uncertain as to whether or not she should continue. I can feel a violent churning in my gut. She continues.
So I can't rely on you, or the nurse, or anyone else. Just me. That's how it's gotta be.
Having delivered this short speech, she looks down and covers her mouth with the back of her hand. The conversation is clearly over. I search for something to say, but can't think of anything. Maybe I should go, for now. I've got stuff. Emmy doesn't even look up. She sounds tired or relieved. I can't tell which.
Okay, Isao. Go take care of that stuff. I'll see you tomorrow.
I get off the bed and head for the door, pausing at the doorway. Hey, Emmy.
Yeah?
1,000 things I want to say. I'm too mixed up to say any of them, though. After her admitting that she'll never let me close, I feel like my world's just been ripped out from me. What happened in an accident? I know she lost her legs, but that's never seemed to bother her. What happened there? What scares a girl so badly that she won't accept help, even from someone she loves? I don't know. But I want to know. I want to know so badly that being denied that answer feels like a knife in my guts.
Isao? You were saying?
I'm still standing in the doorway. Nothing. Never mind. And I'm closing the door. Walking down the hallway. Down the stairs. Out the door. Into the dark. Somehow I wander back to my own room. My brains are doing a mile a minute, going nowhere fast. I can't figure out how to deal with this. I thought that moving forward was a good thing. Dwelling less on a past that I can't change. Living in the present and looking at the future. After this thing with Emmy, I'm not sure anymore. She was saying the truth. It's simpler to look at the next curve, ignoring the path gone by. No worry about the opponent left behind. No care for the spectators on the sidelines. And unfortunately, no time to watch out for lagging teammates either. I throw myself down on the bed, looking at one corner of my ceiling as if the answers I want were written there. No such luck, of course. She's literally running away from something. But have I not been doing the same thing, trying my best to forget my hospitalization? I am getting better, but my health isn't going to magically fix itself. Emmy has 2 legs instead of a heart to deal with, but those aren't going to magically fix themselves either. Maybe this is just as fixed as the both of us can get. The room becomes darker and darker until I can't really tell I'm looking at a corner anymore. The morning comes too soon, on the heels of a sleepless night. Is this how Emmy's been spending her nights? Staring at the wall or ceiling, trying to stop thinking about whatever it is. Her, in my case. That clenched feeling in my gut is still there. I can't rely on you. Words spoken so casually. Almost like she were teasing me or chastising me for suggesting that the earth is flat. That's how it's gotta be. The way it's got to be sucks. I'm feeling so miserably that I'm very near to decide to skip the run. That would be stupid though. It's not something I should do just to see her. Sure, that was the original reason, but it's something more now. I'm starting to enjoy the running itself. There are worse ways to get the blood flowing anyway. Never thought I'd say it after that first week or so, but I feel a lot better after a run. Like no matter what else I do today, I've at least done that one thing. It wakes me up, too, and Emmy herself said that running always clears her mind. Maybe it'll help clear mine. I hope so. Man, things, this episode started off, like, kind of goofy, and, man, it's gone to this. But I was right. She doesn't want to put, like, faith in anybody else. She can't rely on anybody else because she doesn't want to lose anybody else again. The morning is cool and clear, if a bit humid. Summer's making itself known, it seems. Emmy's already stretching out when I arrive and greets me with a smile and a wave.
Hey, Asao!
The sight of her so chipper is like a kick in the nuts. How could she be so happy after yesterday? I give a half wave and I'm surprised to receive a hug.
Hey, about last night.
Here it comes.
I wanted to say thanks. I actually managed to get some sleep for the first time in a while, and I think it's because of our talk. So, thanks.
How could she sleep better after our chat? She basically told me that she wouldn't get any closer to me. And that let her sleep well? Excuse me, but what the hell? Emmy either doesn't notice my bafflement or chooses not to notice. No telling with her anymore. Oh, no problem. Glad it helped. The venom that threatens to drip into my voice is controlled for now, but I think I'd better start running now before I do anything stupid. Emmy seems equally willing to get started, and before long we're darting around the track. I can tell she feels more relaxed. Her running has gone back to the more graceful movements I remember from when I first watched her. It's a stark contrast to the almost brutal way she's been hurling herself around the track these past few days. Her talk really does seem to have helped her. A pity it couldn't help me. I get into the rhythm of the running, thinking back to when I couldn't afford thinking about anything else but keeping my breathing steady and legs moving. I guess those days are gone, at least for the first couple of laps. Annoyed at the lack of success in having with clearing my head, I increased the pace. There's the burning sensation in my legs. The breaths coming ragged to my chest, the pounding of my heart, which I still need to be careful about. But it does seem to have gotten stronger. I can feel it pumping blood through my veins. The sound thrums in my ears, but instead of being panicked as I was that day in the snow, I'm instead filled with elation. Yes, it's working. My heart, that fatal flaw that landed me here, has improved. I'm able to keep going, and maybe one day I'll be able to stop worrying as much. Right now, it doesn't matter that I have no idea what to do about Emmy and me. All that matters is that my arms and legs continue to pump in concert with one another. Nothing else. As I hit the final stretch, I remind myself that running really does help, though not as much as I'd hoped. I do feel better, and as I walk a few laps to cool down, I begin to remember last night in a slightly less emotional manner. Emmy wants me to stay distant from her. I can't bring myself to do so. There's gotta be a way around this, some kind of middle ground I can reach. I'm not sure what that middle ground is, though. Damn, I was almost feeling optimistic.
Nice run, Asao. You really improved.
Nice run. That's all I can hope for now, isn't it? Congratulations, Asao. You're pathetic. I gotta change my attitude. Well, you know, I am pretty awesome. And yet I just keep saying things that I don't mean. Any second now I'll be as good at hiding my problems as Emmy is.
I'd like to think so.
Why does she do this to me? Say something like that with such real affection in her voice that it makes my heart leap. She doesn't mean it. She can't. I must be doing a worse job than I thought because Emmy peers closely at me.
Hey, you feeling okay? Maybe we should get to the nurse, huh?
Yeah, I hate to keel over on you. Emmy looks a little shocked at my bitter tone.
Don't say things like that. I've already done it once before, you know.
Why does she act so affectionate? She doesn't really care. I thought she made that clear. Despite all of that, I find myself apologizing, even though I shouldn't have to. Even though she's probably just putting on an act. Sorry. Come on, let's see the nurse. I can't get myself to calm down the whole time. Every time it feels like I've gone over what happened last night, Emmy does something or says something that shows affection, and I'm back to the beginning. The image of her ending that conversation haunts me. It was like the final twist of the knife that left me feeling bereft of any hope that Emmy and I could be more than what we are. And what are we at this point? Little more than friends who happen to fuck. And really, it's not like I don't enjoy the time I spend with her. Said so the other day myself. I very nearly didn't even bring up anything with her. I was just gonna hop on in there and let it ride, wasn't I? With this running through my head, I find myself in front of the nurse's office, still brooding as he checks out Emmy. Emmy comes bounding out of the door, gives me a kiss, and darts off to shower, I assume. Meanwhile, the nurse beckons me to his office to give me the ritual once-over. Ah, Jesus Christ, things have kind of taken a turn. Damn. Any problems today? Nah, you pushed it a little harder today than I have in the past, and I seem to be able to handle it. That's uncharacteristically risky coming from you, Sal. You've been hanging out with Emmy too much. She's rubbed off on you, and not necessarily in a good way. At the mention of Emmy's name, I can't help but frown unhappily in spite of my efforts to control. Well now, this is new, don't you think? Last I checked, your usual response to Emmy's name was a grin, not a frown. What exactly happened between you two? Because Emmy doesn't seem to be in on it, whatever it is. She looked more relaxed than I've seen her in weeks, which is unusual for this time of the year. What do you mean by that? By what? For this time of year. I keep trying to find out what's been bothering her, but she clams up as soon as I broach the subject. Then last night she said, let me guess, she won't tell you because she says she can't trust you. And now you're crushed because you thought that the two of you were so much more than she seems to think, right? More or less. How the heck did you know? Miss Sal, I'm the nurse. It's my job to know these things. Plus, I've known Emmy for long enough to know that she'd try to do something like this. It's just like her. He says this in a sort of half-affectionate, half-frustrated tone that would seem more appropriate if he had a cigarette dangling from his lips. As it is, he seems willing to make do with a pen. Look, you mind if I give you some advice? Sure. What wasn't Muto said yesterday? If you can't observe the thing, then observe what's around it. Worth a shot. The nurse knows Emmy better than I do, I'll wager. Sure, I'm open to suggestions. Honestly, I'm kind of lost. I've got no idea how to deal with this. I never would have guessed. He grins while he says this. I think he's kidding. Look, here's the deal. Emmy is stubborn. You should know that by now, and if you don't, then you're pretty unobservant, but I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt here. I'm so grateful. Anyway, if she decides she doesn't want to talk about what happened, then she's not going to talk about what happened. Has she said anything about what's been bothering her? Even a hint? Well, she did say she'd been having nightmares about the accident. Really? You're making progress then. That's good. Well, I guess I can fill you in on this without violating my strict non-interference policy when it comes to Emmy making stupid decisions. The anniversary of her incident is coming up soon. She gets depressed around this time because it was a pretty traumatic event considering what she lost. That's the other thing. She acted like she lost more than just her legs. What happened? Whoa! Nope, not going there. You'll have to ask someone else about that because that's a whole can of worms and not about to open. If Emmy wants you to know, she'll tell you in her own time. You've just got to be patient. That's all. Why are you even helping me with all this? Because you're good for her. She trusts you, even if you don't think she does. And you've got the best chance out of anyone at this school right now to help her through this time of year. She won't accept my help, but she might accept yours if you don't screw it up. So don't screw it up, got it? I open my mouth to respond, but a knocking sound at the door interrupts me.
Hey, you guys still in there?
Just a moment, Emmy. Give us a second to get our pants back on. The door bursts open and Emmy glares knives at the nurse.
Asshole!
Didn't mean to get your hopes up. Hey, can we, leave me out of this? Anyway, what's up, Emmy? Get something? I try to take a more cheerful tone with her. No need to upset her. Two can play the everything's fine game.
Actually, I forgot to ask you something.
Oh, what's that?
Do you want to come with me on a trip to my house? My mom's making dinner and I thought you might want to join us.
Well, of course I accept. Emmy punches the nurse in the arm playfully.
You idiot! We were over last week. I was talking to a Sal.
Oh, how interesting. Meeting the parent. I'd love to go, Emmy. Thanks. The nurse raises an eyebrow but says nothing.
Great! I'll be in my room. Swing by after you shower and change into something clean and we'll grab the bus.
Sounds good. I'll see you in a bit. This time it's me who leans in for a quick kiss before darting off to my room. What an interesting development. Maybe we are getting closer after all. Maybe Emmy's finally ready to open up a little. Or maybe she's just being polite, and a free meal seems like a good way to apologize for last night. Great. Now I can decide whether to be excited, nervous, or depressed. I settle for a combination of all three and hop in the shower. Well, that does it for this episode of Katawa Shoujo. I hope you enjoyed the ride today. We, got on... Man. Okay, so the guess I made near the beginning of the episode was right. Emmy's in a lot of pain, and she's trying to hide it from Misao, and she thinks that she can't rely on others. It's a really sad thing, but I don't know how, plainly I don't know how we're gonna go about it, but I want Hisao to be able to help Emmy, for Emmy to be able to rely on people again, you know? But yeah, I mean, this episode started off really goofy, and then ended like that, you know? But I am, interested in seeing where the story goes from here, and I hope you are too. I'm really starting to like Emmy more as a character, you know? Like, she has been, like, continuously growing on me, you know? She's a very good character, and this kind of adds to it. This whole episode was, filled with a lot of stuff that really adds to her, but thank you so much for watching this episode of Katawa Shoujo. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you're excited to see, or at least interested to see what comes next. I'll see you next time. Peace.